What's up, dog fans? It is your favorite quarterback receiver combination in Georgia history, the best, at least post route and back shoulder in Georgia history. Aaron Murray, Tavarres King, joining you right now, and a lot to discuss from Mr. TK's favorite position, the receiving position. Georgia went out into the transfer portal, got them some dudes on the outside. So we're going to talk a lot about that. Has that been the missing piece? What's been wrong with the receivers the past couple of years? Yada, 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 all the good stuff. But it's good to see Georgia going in to the transfer portal and adding some players. Zachariah Branch from USC, Noah Thomas from Texas A&M. We'll talk a little bit about each of those guys as well, their strengths, their weaknesses, what we like, how they can fit into the offense going forward, and how they will make the offense better. TK, happy Wednesday night, my man. How you doing getting ready for the snow on Friday?
Yeah, I'm good. Had to go get some firewood. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
I realized we was running a little low on the firewood, bro. Yeah, we got the cold front coming in into Georgia, so I had to make sure we was gonna be all right.
You up in the burbs, you may get like 5 inches of snow.
Man, I hope not, bro. I hope not. But we good. We got everything we needed from the Instacart today, and your boy went out and got the firewood. So
There we go. Josh Long in the chat says most loaded wide receiver group in a while. See, this is where I'm torn. T and we're not just yet breaking in to how good the receiving room would have been. I'm gonna pivot to this. I feel like I've said that for 2 years now. I said it 2 years ago that this receiving room was going to be amazing. I said it heading into this year that this receiving room was going to be dominant. And I have been wrong for 2 years. I'm not saying like they're terrible. Like I don't want to be here poo-pooing and crapping on the receivers. I mean, it's been an up and down season for everyone. Like Georgia football this year, inconsistency is the key word, and that's the reason why they're not playing in the Orange Bowl. But I did think this would be an elite group this season with everything they had returning. Some of the guys they did get in the portal. And obviously 2 guys got kicked off the football team, which doesn't help. But, I mean, did you have a feeling heading into this season with Dom and Arian and Rah and Colby and everyone else that this would be a really, really maybe one of the best receiving cores, tight end cores in the SEC?
I mean, yeah. Obviously, I was one of those guys with you that felt that this group of receivers that we had in this past year was very dynamic. You had guys that came from other programs that did some special things there, and you had guys within our program that did some special things for us. So you obviously thought putting all that together would be special. But on the other side of that, reality is reality.
Mm-hmm.
We led the league in drops with I think 37. And obviously that's just something that you have to address. And right now it's being addressed. Obviously we're losing guys to the league and things like that, but addressing it in the portal like we have, and getting guys in the recruiting class like a CJ Wiley I'm seeing, Connor, I think is huge because these 2 guys that we just got are difference makers. But we have said that we got to see it unfold. Like you said, we'll talk a little bit more about those 2, but we got to see it all come together because, like you said, it's not like the guys that we had on the roster last year were just guys. There were guys that have made plays. There were guys that have been in big moments. They just didn't get it done last year. So it's got to all come together and it's got to all pan out. But what we are getting is some pieces that I think we need.
Well, and you can tell, and that's why you use the portal, and that's why you have high school recruiting. And the chat brought up a couple of names in there. I think it was Connor, but Taylon Taylor, 5-star receiver out of Illinois. You do have the CJ Wiley receiver 4-star. I think they have a couple other 4-star receivers as well in the group. Thomas Blackshear, 4-star receiver. Tyler Williams, 4-star receiver. So, listen, I've been around 4- and 5-star receivers that some were good, some were busts, some took time. And hell, in today's game, some of these young guys don't play in year 1. They may transfer. I mean, that's just the name of the game nowadays. So it is a position, and this is all position, you try and stockpile, you try and build depth with, which is very hard in today's game because all these guys want to play and they want to get paid. And there's only so much money to go around. There's only so many footballs to go around as well. So But I do love Kirby saying and Bobo saying that guess what, guys? We know we need better guys. We know we need depth, and we're actually going to put an emphasis on it. Maybe because they could just keep giving. Why was Nick Saban? Why is Nick Saban TK the greatest coach of all time? Great motivator, but he always adapted too. Like think about like the new era of football. He adapted, and all of a sudden, he had the best receivers in college football year in and year out. He had Heisman Trophy quarterback. He had all those guys playing at high levels on the perimeter and from the quarterback position. He adapted, and I feel like Kirby is not gone there yet, but it hasn't been really needed to or pushed to do it yet. And I feel like now he's being pushed to do it a little bit. Would you say that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're seeing it in the immediate addressing of the things that we feel like we need, and that's receiver help, receiver depth, guys that can make plays and change games. And as I said, we'll talk about Noah Thomas and Zachariah Branch and their abilities a little later, but those are two guys that I think can be difference makers. If they're catching the ball, which my boy Noah only had one drop last year.
Yep.
So that's a check mark for your boy right there. So I think that they're addressing it. They're like you said, they're very aware of the adaptations that need to be made, and the things that need to take place to make this Georgia offense the offense it needs to be a high flying point scoring offense.
I agree with that. Do you hear echo on my end, on your end?
No, I don't. Y'all hear it in the chat?
I think a little bit, but we'll try to keep it down a little bit on my end. All right, let's get into some of these players real quick. Noah Thomas, since he's the latest addition to Georgia from A&M, 6'6", 200 pounds. Listen, we'll get to Zachariah Branch, but I love tall receivers. I like big guys, especially big guys that can run. That's why I like old boy from Ohio State, Jeremiah Smith, big guy that can run. So this past year, 39 catches, 574, 14.7 yard average. And then I like this too, 8 tutties, red zone threat. I mean, that's what Georgia didn't have this year. You go from Brock Bowers being that guy in the red zone to not having that. Just talk about just the size. I mean, we thought Colby was going to be that. He gets suspended, obviously, but adding a 6'6" experienced receiver and what that means for this offense.
Well, I mean, I think it is huge. I think it gives you a true X receiver on that backside, somebody that you can rely on in big third down tough situations. And if you turn the tape on, shout out to our guy Brooks Austin over there. Had to watch a little tape on our guy Noah. If you turn the tape on this kid, he's constantly getting open, and that's something that as big receivers you don't see a lot. You don't see a lot of separation for big receivers. They're constantly have to make contested catches, but when he does have to make contested catches, they're with his hands. So it's something that you see that he trusts his hands, he believes in his hands. But the thing that impressed me the most was the way that he gets open, bro. He's not your typical 6'6", 6'4" long receiver. He's a guy that can kind of move his body around and run those routes really well. So I'm intrigued to see how Bobo utilizes him in those aspects, because he's going to get jump balls. He's going to get those red zone targets for sure. But I'm intrigued to see how he gets utilized, in the latter part of the field.
And I'll say this too about him from a receiving standpoint, just the stats this year. He was going with 2 quarterbacks and 1 Wegman, who just was god awful for the majority of the season. Unfortunately for him, a lot of expectations didn't get nowhere near that. And then and more of a mobile quarterback and Marcel Reed from there. So to get those kind of yards and stats and touchdowns with inconsistency from the quarterback spot, I think it's even more impressive. And now putting him in a system with, I don't know who the quarterback is going to be next year. It's going to be a competition, but it's going to be better than what he had there at A&M. So I know he's excited probably to be a part and to be maybe a true number one. Is he an X or is he a Z at the end of the day, T? Does it matter in today's game?
I mean, I don't think it matters, but I mean, if you're just speaking technical, I guess you would put him over there in that boundary, maybe. I would think. But I will say this, getting back to the film study of him, if you want to get hype about it, like you said it, like last year, there was many opportunities for him to get the ball, brother. He didn't, and he was, wide ass open. So he can do his thing. And to your point, he's not a guy that has to be in the boundary or to
Yeah.
the field, so he can move around for sure.
I always do like a nice X receiver back to the backside. Am I echoing now? It is. It's on TK side because I just muted your ass. I think I'm echoing through your computer, but all good. I'll just mute you when I'm talking. Um, eh, I love a nice X receiver that you can get one-on-one the backside. If they want to leave a corner, and corners got big nowadays. These corners are no longer like 5'10", 5'11". Like there's corners that are 6'1", 6'2". So like they know they need some size, but still, like, if I know I got height and I got one-on-one in the red zone, and we can have a variety of route combinations, whether it's slant, sluggo, go balls, posts, back shoulders. You work that over and over and over again all spring, and all of a sudden, it forces defenses to make a decision. Do you put a safety backside? Do you not? I mean, AJ was 8'6'4", and I knew anytime I had one-on-one with him, it's we're going for it. I mean, even you're 6'1", 6'2". I knew anytime you were usually taller than the receivers, I was going for it. So that's how I kind of view him, and how Bobo is going to use him next season. All right, let's go to receiver number 2, TK, unless you had anything else on him. You're muted now.
No, I think we got that covered. If y'all want to go check him out, y'all can though. He can. He's pretty solid.
All right, let's go to the next one. Zachariah Branch, USC, more of a scat back. I mean, special teams, elite special teams, punt returns, something that cost Georgia big time in the game against Notre Dame. You're getting kind of a 2-for-1 here, a guy that can be the punt returner and can be impactful there, and also a guy that you can just move around, jet sweeps in the slot, win one-on-ones. And this is, I talk about liking big receivers, T. In today's game, to have a receiver with Branch's ability, and I think people think he's like elite speed. I think the speed's good. I would say he's more quick than fast. What he can do one-on-one in a phone booth, what he can do one-on-one on choice routes, I think is just it's so much fun to be a part of. And yeah, I'll let you go from there and can kind of break down the receiver position and what you've seen from him a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, a dude that was a kickoff return All-American his freshman year, so he's a gadget dude. I like what Unc said in the chat earlier. Kind of compared him to an Isaiah McKenzie.
Yeah.
Just a dude, just a little jitterbug that can kind of turn a simple play into a large play. And I think that those guys are fun. When you have, obviously you mentioned having a guy backside that you feel confident in throwing the ball to, and obviously that was missing in Georgia last year. You know what I'm saying? We need that. So now we have that in the Noah Thomas. But it's fun to be in the middle of the field and to do a jet sweep or something like that, and toss the ball to a cat like a Zachariah Branch and watch him just ping, go through there like a ping pong ball, like a pinball, and just get to the house. So I think he has that kind of ability, that quick twitch ability. Yeah, somebody else said it. McCole Hardman is another guy I would compare him to. So excited to have a guy like that. And that's another thing that was missing. Obviously, we had Dylan Bell, and glad Dylan is coming back. I think he dealt with some injuries last year that kind of hindered him a little bit. So it'd be good to get him back healthy and be able to utilize both of these guys in that manner.
But I don't think we ever had I don't think we ever had a guy that had that kind of quick twitch though. Like we had, to me, Dylan was a good size, good speed, physical. Aaron Smith, straight line speed. Dom, he's good over the middle, good body, but still, like, it's not that, put him on a dance floor and he's going to break it down and he's that guy. Like, that is what I think Zachariah Branch is. Like, you give him a choice route and you say, hey, nickel, hey, linebacker, hey, safety, whoever you are, you give me a three-way go, you ain't stopping me. I can curl it up versus zone. I can break out versus man. I can break in versus man, whatever it is based on leverage. Like, I don't feel like we had a guy that can put a dude on in the blender essentially. And to have that kind of quickness, it's different. Tyreek Hill and receiver for Miami now. I was with him in Kansas City. Like, he put you in a blender and you'd be spinning around. And I don't think he has that kind of speed, but I do think he has that kind of quick twitch watching his tape.
Yeah, 100%. When you got a guy that can manipulate a corner or nickel and make him think he's going left and he's going right, it definitely opens up your playbook. It definitely gives you an option in third and short to do some special things to turn third and short into an explosive. So I think he's that type of dude. And I think he is special, like you said, not a blazer like a Tyreek Hill, but from a quick twitch standpoint, I think he can get it done, and obviously he can take it to the house. As I mentioned,
Yep.
All American as a kick returner. That's 100 yards.
We need that. I'll take that all day. Just thinking. So this is the projection of what Georgia's receiving core could look next year. These are some of the guys that Georgia will have, and like you said, we were excited heading into this season. Expectations were high. Expectations obviously were not met, but this is projecting Dylan Bell on the outside, Noah Thomas on the outside, Zachariah Branch on the inside, Trevor Etienne in the backfield. Trevor's coming back, and then Lawson Lucky and Oscar Delp at the tight end position. That's pretty good, TK. Like, I mean, do you feel? I don't want to get too excited again, and I'm not even gonna get excited until it's proven for at least 6 games. I'm not gonna get juiced about this receiving core until I actually see it, because I've been burned over and over again, unfortunately. But if a man was gonna dream, that's a pretty damn sexy starting offensive line or unit.
Yeah, I mean, I love the unit on paper. I love the unit in itself. I mean, those guys, all of those guys that you mentioned, have made plays and have got it done. And then you're adding guys as well. I mean, yeah, like you said, you don't want to get too happy, but shit, on paper, that shit does look nice. And obviously, the big circle there is the quarterback spot, and how is that going to look, and how is that going to pan out? But from a weapon standpoint, the weaponry looks nice.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any portal quarterbacks that are in the portal that what Georgia would go in there and offer to bring in that would improve the room right now. Kind of feeling that it's going to be a gunner who I was impressed with in the bowl game, and a Puglisi battle. Obviously, Jaden Rashad is gone, and a lot of people in the chat asking about Colby Young. I'm pretty sure I saw the other day Colby hit the portal again, so Colby's gone. I did see someone else in the chat talk about London Humphreys as well. His second season, and I remember talking with Bobo this past offseason about 2 guys that he was hoping that would ball out. And obviously Dom played really well this season. Not maybe as good as I was hoping he would, but still had a good year. Second year in the system. Dom and then Rara. And unfortunate for Rara, wasn't on the team to prove what year 2 in the offense would look like. But London Humphreys, who had moments this year, go back to that Clemson game, second year in the system as well. He's someone that you can rely on also heading into the offseason. But I mean, for me, call me crazy. I know it's my position, but I kind of feel like we're just in a two quarterback race here, T.
Yeah, I mean, I don't foresee anybody. I was just kind of looking at the portal, what's left out there. I mean, yeah, I don't foresee us doing anything crazy at the Q spot. And like you said, I think that Gunner had a hell of a game. I think that with the help of some O-line mistakes and some drops, I think that his game looked a lot cleaner. You know what I'm saying? So I think we got to give that kid a shot. I think we got to give him an opportunity to be the guy. And obviously you see that the guys believe and trust and love him, and they believe and trusted and loved Stetson Bennett, and you saw where that got us from a standpoint. So you gotta kind of hang your hat on that too.
I know Bobo loves him, that's for damn sure. I know he does. And I said this last offseason, Brock Vandagriff didn't leave because he was gonna be the number 2 guy and didn't beat Carson Beck out. He lost because Gunner took his spot for number 2. Gunner was gonna be that guy, and I think that's just how high the coaching staff sees him, and they see the leadership and everything that goes. And now he gets to be that leader this offseason. He gets to, organize the 7-on-7, organize the workouts, organize the film study. And we're going to see if Puglisi has the balls to do the same thing. That's a tough spot for a freshman. I know he's been there for a year, but to have the confidence to try and lead the troops when there's another guy who just played in the bowl game and just played well. So it's going to be an interesting battle between those two guys this season. But hey, man, like I said, really happy that Georgia is going in there, filling some needs at the receiving position, that you got two guys that are really good at what they do. A big guy on the outside in Noah Thomas that can win some one-on-one balls, and a guy like Zachariah Branch that can be that guy in the slot, move around, get him a ball in a variety of ways. And then obviously the utilizing him on special teams, I think, is monster as well for the Dogs. So anything else, T, before we head out?
Nah, nothing for me, man. I think we like you said, addressing the portal needs are huge, and I think we're taking some very large steps addressing the needs that we have outside in the receiver spot.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We need some receivers. All right, that's it for Aaron Murray Tavarres King here on Bulldog Banter. Appreciate everyone joining us here live. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that great stuff. We'll have a variety of football content and other sports throughout the season. Basketball, we have some basketball shows that we're going to be brewing up as well. We'll continue to keep you updated here about everything going on when it comes to football. We're going to try to do some new shows with some of the rising sophomores for the University of Georgia. Get to know the future stars there in the Bulldog locker room. So lots of exciting things here in the springtime. Just because football season's over with does not mean that we're done here at the Players Lounge. So we appreciate everyone. Have a great night and enjoy the playoffs starting tomorrow.